Yeah.
We got it.
Hello, folks. Welcome to our True Crime Year in Review. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for coming. I can't believe it's already basically December the 30th. Like, that's bananas to me.
Hey, get to ducking point. We love it. We read your email and we appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Hello.
Yeah, this is wild to me. It's wild to me because I'm like doing something for New Year's. So like, I feel unprepared because it feels like the year just went by so fast. Like I still have people I haven't said Merry Christmas to.
I know. Well, December went by super fast, in my opinion. Like, I never get to do all the cozy and cute things that I have in mind, but and hey, get to ducking point. We love that you're here. You're like the fourth one of us. Like, it's so awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. We appreciate it so much. It's so fun.
How are you, Get to?
Yeah. We decided we were going to go back over everything we've covered this year, and we thought that it would be interesting to see because it has been a busy year for all the cases. And we started in Idaho because Idaho, because that's what was going on in January. And there was
the case that really took me into the deep depths of like true crime YouTube. Prior to that, if I recall, I was watching the Johnny Depp trial and I loved it. It was so entertaining. I had no idea that like trials were just that fun and like crazy. And of course, that was like a very unique trial because he's famous and like it was kind of a light, like it's a crime, but it's like crime light, you know? Because it was like defamation, so it wasn't murder. And then I remember when the Idaho 4 thing happened, there were those of us who stayed up like, well, I was up late regardless because I was working nights, but there were people that were up all night doing like all night lives with like T-Rev and Iked Mel and all these people were following it. And there became like kind of a community for the Idaho 4. I don't know. How did you guys hear about it and get into it?
Idaho 4 got me into it totally. I never did YouTube at all, true crime, till Idaho 4. I just wanted more. I wanted more information, and so I started going to YouTube and hit the lives, and you got all the information. And I was up late too, all the time.
And where did you follow it? Because I didn't run into you until like way later in the game.
I followed it on Lost Souls, Thought Riot, Lana, Truth and Transparency.
Right, she's awesome.
That's where I was in those three pretty much. And I would go into others here and there, Dago, but I never talked much. I used to be quiet.
Yeah, I've said that to people before. I watch a lot of YouTube on my TV. So I don't normally turn the chat on my phone. So I rarely looked at chat, and I've been following true crime on YouTube for years. And I honestly Idaho was the first time I actually wanted to chat with people.
I always followed Stephanie Harlow and like some of those sort of like very surface, not that she's surface because she actually does amazing like investigations and it's just very patented. And a lot of these channels, I never knew that there was like a subculture of like, that's where I learned about mods and like discords and all that stuff. And there were so many feelings behind the Idaho 4. Like it really was, everybody was together on it. Like we were all into it. This was my vision of it, at least. Like these these 4 were murdered in such a vicious way and in such a like serial killer but scary movie way, and it felt wrong and it felt like a mystery. We were all on the edge of our seats. And then when BryanKohberger got arrested, a lot of us were divided because there was the police have their man, like, okay, justice is going to be served. And then there was the huge community that is like the subculture of BK is being framed. He's innocent.
Kohlbergers.
Kohlberger, right?
Kohlbergers.
And
those are the Kohlbergers, I think.
Kohlbergers. Oh yeah. I mean, like there have been people following like shadow people, and like then we got the Linda Lane footage. There was the Grub Truck footage. I mean, it's become an obsession, like a true obsession. Yeah.
It's kind of wild when you think about like when I see like Grub Truck video, for instance, or like the Corner Club. To me, I live in Idaho. It's so like mundane. It's just like another night out. Like it doesn't look wild to me. It's just that it's a college town. There's 20,000 people there, and most of them are students. So it's kind of funny to me because nothing is alarming to me in most of the videos. Nothing was, I guess, initially, until I started watching all the videos, and then stuff started poking out. Stuff started looking more interesting to me.
Get to Ducking Point. Did you follow it? Did you follow it as it happened, or how did you hear about it?
Yeah. Yeah, off the cuff, police off the cuff, and duty on for sure.
Okay, yeah, those are really good.
Yeah, and there was channels that aren't there anymore, that I found that I don't even know how.
Like Sleuthy, I used to follow Sleuthy too.
Yeah, that was a good channel. Yeah, there was like so many channels that are not around maybe or are around, but I just think it's interesting how many channels like are so interested in it. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait for us to be able to like actually see some of the process in person.
Oh, I'm dying to see it, the actual trial. But for me, it was like, it felt like a scary movie. It felt like such a mystery every time, the Gonsalveses would speak, like while they were still looking for somebody. I feel like people were really, like everybody was on the same team. And then now there's a lot of division in the true crime community, as happens, which I didn't know. I didn't know that was a regular thing. I just thought that was like an Idaho 4 thing. But there's so many people that are so sure that BryanKohberger did not do this. The touch DNA comes up a lot. This is the first time I've ever heard of touch DNA. When they found the PCA came out, that was super divisive. People have gone over the PCA and like believe that there are so many holes in it and that it should be thrown out. They have like then we got a lot of footage which has been scrubbed. Like the Grub Truck footage, I think obviously exists online, but when we first got it, it was like straight off of Twitch where it had originally been streamed. And like we were all watching it and going over it, and I was modding over at Dago's. And I loved that channel because you could say anything you wanted to say, and like people popped up and they had all kinds of theories. I loved T-Revs for that same reason. Like these moms would like call in at like 2 a.m. and be like, I know what happened. Then there was WSU mom Kim. Yeah. And she came out with like some really insane details. Got a lot of people thinking and talking. What are your guys' thoughts on her?
I enjoyed when she has talked with us and other channels and stuff. I don't know. I have like such a like closeness ish to everything that's happening because I'm so close. Like when it happened, it was like, I mean, that's 5 hours from my house, so it was like.
Were you scared? Like were people scared that there was like a killer on the loose?
I think I was more concerned myself with the college environment up there, like how unprepared people that age would be to handle the situation, I guess, mentally. Right. And then like if somebody wasn't caught sooner, which it took like a month to find somebody. It took over a month. It took them over a month. So it was a little bit freaky to know that, but it also at that time kind of seemed, I could see that Get To says the 4 students was like a Ted Bundy type of thing to think. It
totally was the sorority.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
The sorority killings. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of more my thought. Like I wasn't worried about Boise so much. I was more worried about just like, because I'm so familiar with the school and that area, that it was like going to be really, were like things would, like they wouldn't find who it was, or it would be a much bigger deal than one person. And maybe it still is. I don't know. Well, we're going to know soon. I cannot wait for July or whatever. We have to wait till July, I think.
And you're going to go to the courthouse, right?
I am going to go to the courthouse. I'm like 10 minutes from where he's at right now. I might, let's say 10 minutes, maybe not 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most.
I am so excited for you to run into all the YouTubers. Like,
I know, me too.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I hope other people are here. I'd love to see people. I'd love if anybody wants to know like best places to stay that are like close or whatever, things like that, or Idaho things to know. I don't know what they would be, but I'm more than happy to give information out for Boise for people if they want to come in, because it's going to be a long trial. It's definitely going to be like, if YouTubers are coming, I'm sure they're going to want to like, you know, like house type situation, because it's not going to be, July is going to be in the hundreds here. The whole front of that building is concrete.
Right.
It is in front of a 4-lane main road in the middle of town.
Okay.
And it is just concrete outside. So it's going to be insanely hot to be standing out. It's going to be over 100 degrees stand outside in July in front of that courthouse.
You know what? I like this new judge. I really like the new judge that they got. Like we started off with Judge, and he was kind of a pushover. He kind of struck me as somebody that was like kind of like laid back and sort of, he was going to run sort of a loose courtroom. This other guy, he wants to get through this. He wants everybody to play by the rules. Oh, yeah. I like him. Like, I don't like him yet, but I mean, I like it from what I've seen. What do you guys think? Yeah. What do you think, Eric?
I like the judge. Yeah, he's more, you know, he's taking no shit. You know, like I think Judge seemed like, you know, he let everything go, and he didn't put his foot down. You know, they were like bickering back and forth to each other, and he let it happen, and never really said, like, put his foot down and, you know, give it a date where the evidence had to be in and all. He just took both sides and said, yeah, I'll think about it, and really never got anything done.
Yeah, I'm going to want to follow this with Emily D. Baker. If anybody has not followed that channel will make you fall in love with watching trials, like gavel to gavel. Like we have the group of us, like friend group of us, have gotten so into watching trials. Like we will like message each other and be like, at 6 a.m. we'll be like, trials starting. She's so good, and she's so fun. Her chat's wild, so you can't really type in there, but it's like so interesting, and like I've really learned so much of how the process works, because she is excellent. She's an ex-prosecutor, I believe, and really explains it in layman's terms, but also like if you were a law person, like her and lawyer, and
Peter's great.
Those two, like even if you just follow those two, I feel like you learn a lot about the process.
Yeah, for sure. It's really nice because they're clearly lawyers anyways, but they are so informative. Anything that seems unusual to somebody who's never seen a court case of anything happening in any courtroom before, it's pretty amazing. I'm always impressed by those guys. What is that other one? The other guy that I like too, the Crime Network guy.
Jesse Weber.
Yeah, they don't do the same thing, but he definitely follows the cases too.
They have their spot. Yeah, they have their spot for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any predictions for Idaho 4? Like, do you guys have anything you want to predict going into 2025?
I think there's a lot of evidence we know nothing about because of the gag order, and
yes,
I think it'll play out. Well, once we see what they have,
I can't wait.
Idea.
Oh, I can't wait.
They have a ton of stuff we don't know about because of the gag order.
Everything. I don't think we have anything. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah.
I actually don't think we have anything. I mean, what we were told that the PCA is not even true, false, whatever.
Well, it's
However,
fabricated.
Fabricated. Yeah. However, we were told that whatever wording that was exactly has me ready for the actual court here. Like, I'd like to actually sit down and see
Yeah.
the evidence they actually have. And this is going to be, it's impressive because, we just see like not to push ahead into other cases, but, we just see the whole thing with Jay-Z and the judge being like, just knock it off. And it does kind of feel like this judge, the Boise judge, is going to be more straightforward. And I do think that Judge would, I mean, my guess is he probably sees a lot of college kids doing stupid shit cases and a lot of drug cases, because that is the issue in that part of the country,
That Brady hearing in January is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That is going to be a big deal.
Do you know what made me open-minded to that we are going to learn so much is when I followed the Alec Murdaugh trial. I don't know if you guys followed that, but I watched it on Emily's. It's something I would say even go back and watch like the best of moments of that trial if you didn't already watch it. Because when the Snapchat video came out of him down at, obviously you have to know something about the case for this to make sense, but there was a Snapchat video that his son, who was a victim, took like a couple of minutes before the crime could have been committed. And Alec Murdaugh had said he was not down at the kennels with his wife and son anytime near the time of the murder. And then this bombshell comes out, and it's literally a Snapchat video with a chocolate lab like my baby, but and a chicken, and Alec Murdaugh's voice in the background was like ringing through. It was clearly him. Everyone in the courtroom was like so shocked. And this is something that came out during trial, and it was the reason Alec Murdaugh had to take the stand, pretty much. And it was like a bombshell. So for people who don't think that we know, or who think that we kind of know everything, or that there's no evidence, or there's no reason that BK should be being held. I mean, I'm of the mindset where the gag order's in place. Like, I think there's a lot of digital evidence. That's my guess. And we have a lot of phones. Phones have been extracted. Kaylee's phone's not back yet. Obviously there's a ton. Yeah, they've only given.
What do you mean not back yet? It's been years.
Yeah, no, they still have it. Yeah.
No, they have Kaylee's phone. So I mean, there are a lot of things that we still don't know. Like, there's a creator. She's a micro creator, but she was swearing that there was a camera above the doors, like that she has a photo of it. Obviously, like, there's a lot of speculation in general, but I think that there's going to be a lot coming out at trial. I mean, look at how many terabytes they gave over to the defense, right?
Yeah, I think that there's a camera across the driveway. If that's the thing, that's got to be the most important video. Hopefully their Ring camera was, charged, or like whatever. Hopefully they don't need to charge their Ring camera, and it's a bit, because I mean, that to me is going to be the kicker. Like, there should be a camera directly across the street. We should be able to watch these girls go in. We should be able to watch Ethan and Xana go in the house, and get, they said they were eating pizza. Like, I want to see, did they walk in with pizza? You know what I mean? I want to see that. Let's see all that video. That was the thing that got me about when everybody was on Linda Lane and talking about it, and they just kept showing the same time frame. And I'm like, no, I want to see like 48 hours of time frame. I want to see a week's worth of this exact time. I can't place any data on one data point. Like, there's no way to look at one 30-minute, or not even that long, one like 5-minute video of somebody yelling some name out, in the dark, like, without knowing what if every single night on Thursday, or every Thursday Brian down the street takes out his dog, whatever the name is, and that's him and his dog. You know what I mean? Maybe you could get the same recording 8 nights in a row because people are out drinking at the same bars and going to do the same things because it's college town.
And cell phone cast information is precise. That's how they found the kids in the Lori Vallow case. Murdoch was pinged, so everyone thinks it's far away in towers. The cast is precise.
Yeah, the cast is
within 11 feet.
Yeah, the cast is exactly. It's not. And the wild thing is, you guys, like I got a new phone. I got a new phone yesterday, and it has some sort of find your device thing that says it'll find your device even if it's turned off.
Yeah, listen to this at school, like they always lose their phones. And the other day, some father came in. He's like, "Can you open these doors in the auditorium?" And he hit the button, and the phone pinged. They found it in 2 minutes.
Yeah. See, and I've done that. Been like, drop my phone in the park where we're doing something, and it gets dark, and you find your phone, and it's like it's right there. My new phone has like other extra settings that I thought were interesting. There was 3 extra settings that weren't on my old phone of find your device.
Also scary.
I mean, well, I'm just saying, like, your phone's like turning your phone off is clearly not going to stop it from being seen, I guess is my point. Like, not that that's what happened there, but I'm just saying, like, things like that, like the cast, things like that have come a million miles in the last 5 years.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see who gets called as witnesses. Like, I'm curious to see if, like, Enon Harsh, what was that guy, Joey from the Grub Truck, who actually DM'd me on TikTok.
Cool.
Hilarious. Yeah.
The guy at the counter?
Scary.
The ordering guy? Yeah, he was great.
Yeah. He went through all my videos, and he liked them all. And then he DM'd me, and I freaked out because at the time we didn't have BryanKohberger, and I was like, oh my gosh.
The guy with the cocaine camera.
With the what?
Yeah.
He supposedly had a cocaine camera in his hand.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. One of those crazy theories. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who the witnesses are. Like, apparently Brian has like 200 witnesses or something, 400 witnesses. What was that? I think we even did a show on that on another channel. Remember the 400 witnesses?
Something wild. It was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane. It's something crazy.
I mean, you can't have 400 witnesses. I mean, we watched the Karen Reed trial, and that went on forever. But I guess it's time to move on to our next. So we never really stopped following Idaho 4.
No,
right?
We're going to get back to this. We're getting back to that case. We're getting back to it. And the thing is with Idaho 4 is that we're going to be here. It's going to be a big deal next year. And we don't want to run into the ground before we get there, Like it's so interesting.
Yeah.
We'll cover the Brady hearing too.
Yeah,
we'll cover the Brady hearing. It's next month, right?
Anything comes out, we'll be on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll cover it as it comes. Then Sophie will pop her butt down there and get some live footage, and it'll be really interesting from your point of view, Sophie. And I mean, for me, I never really stopped following Idaho 4, but I have to say, like, I put it on the back burner because I got really tired of listening to all the just speculation once I got really into factual cases and like cases that were going on right now with like true outcomes. I just couldn't talk about the theories anymore. Like, as cool as it was in the beginning, it's just not my vibe right now.
I can't. Not that I can't, because I could for hours, because we've had the discussions where we're like, this could go on forever, but like but I don't want to do that now because it's so close. And everything else happened.
So much going on.
Well, we bumped like we're like Idaho 4, and then we bumped into the missing ladies in Oklahoma. And that was wild. And now we just got the conclusion, half of the conclusion of that.
And
we bump into that.
We went to Karen Reed after, right?
We went to Kansas Moms.
Okay, Kansas Moms. Yeah.
Things were kind of getting stale on Idaho 4. There wasn't a lot of movement.
Yeah.
And then a creator suggested this case, and we modded during it. So we got to like watch a lot of action, meet a lot
on the ground.
Brand new people.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, this is where we met probably a lot of the people sub to us now.
Yeah. All our buddies, our YouTube friends, which is pretty cool.
This is where we bonded too.
Yeah, definitely. We got our little friend group. For the most part, everybody's still here, which is great.
Get to Ducking Point's going to follow us too back to Idaho when we get there, and
good.
And we got there's some other things here that we kind of passed over. There was something else at the beginning of the year. What else was going on at the beginning of the year? Ashley, you had said it earlier, or after the Kansas Moms. Actually, what was next after the Kansas Moms?
Karen Reed. But we started with, we went Idaho for Kansas Moms, and then Karen Reed is kind of how things went.
I love how it's cool to see the like half of like see people getting charged with the Kansas Moms. That was that as opposed to like we watch Idaho 4 and we have there's nothing. We got nothing. We got Brian moved. We basically got Brian moved. It was like the biggest part of this year's for that case. So we got nothing out of any of the hearings. Nothing's come forward for anybody. So basically we're just waiting on that. And it's wild to see how long. Then you go into Karen Reed, and that took forever to get to court also. And then we get farther in the year and you get cases that were happening in January and February, and we actually have their conclusions already. So it's been kind of wild. That's wild to me too, that we're waiting so many years for that. And then they've already convicted 2 of the people from the second case of the year that we were looking at.
Well, Koberger actually moved quicker. It's moving quicker than like Karen Reed.
Right? Yeah, no. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of pressure.
WadeWilson was 5 years before.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
so
how long did Murdoch take to get to court?
For the most part, most of these cases, like we hear about them once they go to court, but they've been in the process for a couple of years, right? Or like 4 to 5 years is normal.
Sarah Boone was like how long? 7?
It's not an overnight process.
Yeah, it was 7.
I think
forever.
I think what really helped in the Kansas Moms case, obviously, was like it seemed like came from a small town, right? It was a smaller community.
Yeah.
You had motive, right? And that led you right to the people who were kind of responsible. And from there has been a lot of action. We've been able to follow it on the Carrie Moody channel, which we can add into the description because they've been so nice to like let us chat with our old friends and stuff.
Law enforcement did a good job in that case.
Law enforcement did, yeah. It sounds like they really they were careful, but they at the same time they got their people and they got them talking.
Yeah, quickly. They did. That actually seemed like it moved quickly in comparison. For the small town.
It was like a custody thing, it was a custody thing.
What's funny is we saw that we were there. We saw that on camera, and we saw that part of the country and how vast it is with such a little amount of population, and that is comparable to Moscow. I mean, not that that area was smaller. Those towns are smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was wild too to see, because it's just hard to imagine when we get out like any place in this country that there's still all these like tiny little towns.
Yeah, I'm not used to farmland.
It must be so surreal for them, like when you come to think of it, like the size of the town, and then to have such a microscope and people like
oh yeah,
Nancy Grace talking about you, and you got Brian Enton showing up, and you're just so private. Like from the sounds of it, it's a very private community. People want to stick to themselves. They don't want to talk to strangers, or they don't want strangers looking on their property. And next thing you know, you've got people from the true crime community showing up.
Totally poking their nose in the business. All over the place. Yeah. And that's it's funny because that's like, so we now know that's like a common thing, like Turtle Boy. We now realize that it's like, and I know there's been other creators, and I'm not going to just start naming names of people because I know there's multiple creators that like JLR, there's multiple people that are out there I am naming names. I was like, there are multiple people that are out there that are like right up in the business of every case they get to work on, and I think that's cool. I think
You
it's
need
fun.
that
Like,
because
good for
mainstream
you.
media doesn't give you the true facts. They give you what they want you to believe.
Right. I'd way rather listen to somebody who, like, this is what they want to, this is what they're interested in. That's what they know about. Like, cool. I'm interested because you're right. The news isn't doing it. Like, think about that. Like, I see that Get to Duck Point made says like all the missing and alive children at the beginning of this year. That was still wild, and they're still missing. There's still like Sebastian. Like, we still
There's
got
so many cases. Yeah, we're just touching on like the cases, how we sort of
and
followed
we
them chronologically. But I mean, there's so many cases every year, and the ones that hit, like it's just incredible how much attention happens and how lives are just changed. Like people who are just witnesses, people who were adjacent to the victims or adjacent to the families. I mean, it's
oh yeah, we're
absolutely
all
insane. Now you got, I mean, with the Kansas Moms case, just to stay on track, um, you probably have a whole segment of people who never got involved with true crime. And now they're all on YouTube, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I would imagine that because it's such a small town. The more we got to know people, the more you realize like this is this is a huge. I mean, not that I don't think it's a huge deal on any level, but I'm just saying when it's that close to home and it's that small of a town, I can't put it together. And I've never. I mean, it's wild. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew each other. Like in some way, everybody knew each other.
That was what stuck out to me for the chat as like being so unique. For example, like when we were in the chats for Idaho 4, you didn't see the frat boys coming in and talking. With the Kansas Moms, you saw like, oh, I'm a friend of Jillian's, I'm a friend of, Veronica's, I'm a family member, I am a school teacher who taught the kids. Like it was very personal, and it made me remember at least that these cases are real people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it made me reflect more on, when you're talking about things and bringing up subjects like autopsy reports, it is their choice to be on YouTube for sure, but at the same time, they're real people that have to listen to this. And if somebody leaks out something really sensitive, you have to remember like they're real people that are going to perhaps be listening. Right. So,
and there's 6
it
children that
is.
lost their mother. So
Yeah,
that could go into this, where maybe not
right.
now, or when they get a little older and look this up and hear things.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. That's the hardest thing. Like that's why I really want to stay away from doing crimes against children because it's just so sad.
That's why we didn't really do Sebastian Rogers.
Yeah.
I never got into the Soto case either for that reason. It was so dark. And I know Plunder's really good. Plunder, that channel,
she's amazing.
is really good, and she follows it like a lot. And I am grateful that people are following it because it does put the pressure on law enforcement to stay focused on getting justice for the victims. But for me personally, when it's kids involved, I just feel sick.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's just it's a
Especially
little
when
bit.
you got nieces and nephews the same age.
Yeah.
Really, really hits home.
Yeah, it's a little difficult. I think do you guys think that's an interesting point from Get To? Do you guys think that they could move the trial to Oklahoma City? Would they need to do that?
I think they won't, but I think that it would probably be. I mean, if I was one of the people on trial, I would push for it because how do you get a fair trial in that town? I mean, what is fair though? I mean, they've pretty much, admitted to it. I don't think Granny has admitted to it. Tiffany,
Kat and Tiffany, I think those two have to go.
Oh yeah, this is an excellent point. That's an excellent point. I didn't actually think about that right now, that they're not cooperating, they're gonna need a jury. Yeah, that's really funny because I actually just got that when you just said that, actually, because I hadn't thought about that. I guess for some reason I thought they'd cooperate eventually. They have a hearing, right? There's some hearing for them in the same courtroom.
Yeah.
Is that a hearing for something like that? Because there's zero way they could be able to pull any jury pool from that area that wouldn't know.
I mean, they all know. It's like they're all, I don't know all, I can't say all, but the general consensus that I get is that everybody's aware of everything
Me
as it
too. Well,
happens, almost like real
Yeah,
time, right?
I think the
yeah.
big deal with that now is because of Grice said he killed both of them,
Oh,
is that
yeah.
Tad has a chance of getting off, and that's what nobody
No.
wants. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, there is a chance, just because it's a legal system and a jury, and
Yeah.
Grice came out and said that. I mean, I
That
Yeah.
think that's
shocked
the
me.
big
That
deal
was
with
a
that.
shock.
Oh,
Me
me
too.
too.
It was shocking for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It was shocking may not even be the right word. Like I'm still in shock a little bit to know, and I hope that the other people don't not get in trouble too. I mean,
So like
yeah, Granny planted exactly.
Cora
I
got
hope
30 years, and she was an
Granny,
accomplice, so Tad shouldn't walk.
right? Yeah, I don't. I maybe that's
My
small
prediction
town
is that
trust.
nobody walks. My prediction is that nobody walks, that everyone
Oh
will
yeah,
get the 30 something odd years. And for them, I mean, they're middle aged, right? So that's kind of a life
Life.
sentence for
Yep.
them.
no,
Yep.
yes, yes, yes. It's yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's
Yeah, I
life
don't think
sentence
so either,
enough.
but I know it. People talk about it.
Well, I know that's the family. Tara Parker had said that that's the family's biggest concern is that somebody could walk or that there would be some type of technicality that would let Tiffany or Tad off. I mean, it's wild to me that the person with the who had sort of the conscience in the end, Grice, was the one who actually physically murdered those ladies. I mean, he must be haunted. He must be absolutely haunted.
Yeah.
Oh, I was haunted by
And he has
hearing the
children. You
story.
have to do the right thing by your
Yeah.
children.
Oh, what now? Now,
Well, yeah, now.
yes, that's kind of a hard pass on like actually, like do as I say and as I do type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, so many lives have been ruined by this and
yeah,
it's so
yeah,
needless. Nobody got the children who like Tiffany didn't. I mean, I
right.
don't know. I don't know what got
No,
accomplished there, you
yeah,
know?
no winning happened there. Absolutely zero. No, nothing good happened. Nobody got anything good out of that
And
whole
Wrangler
situation.
better not get those children.
Do
Yeah.
we have any predictions for this case going into 2025?
I'm gonna go with what do you think, get to ducking? Because I'm thinking that yeah, I think that if they don't want to like plea anything, I think they get moved to Oklahoma City, and then I think it's maybe a different case at that point, and I don't know why, but it's just it's going to be tried differently if there's
I think
that.
Tad and Tiffany get the same as Cora.
I hope they all, yeah,
It's
I hope they do
it's
too.
conspiracy to murder.
I
It's
hope they all die in prison.
Tiffany
I
set it
do.
all up. We know that. Those are her
Mhm.
grandkids.
Yeah, I think I don't. I think that's. I hate saying things like that. I don't want. I hate saying that anybody should not be alive, but I do hope the worst for them. Sorry, sorry, not sorry. I don't. That's my prediction. I hope the worst for them.
I think my opinion is Tiffany and Tad are going to fight this and they're going to try to fight it on technicalities and the way that the police handled things. If there were any Brady list people or, those type of technicalities, I don't think they'll be successful is my prediction, but I think you're going to see way more pushback on the technicalities, trying to put everything on Grice, trying to say that they were potentially just there to scare them or something. I don't
Mhm.
know what they could say. I'm just trying to think like maybe Tiffany goes for, she blames um blames it on sort of like not insanity but like a mental state,
Sure.
because of the
Like a mania.
alleged abuse, right?
Could you have a
um
mania or something? What could be done by the abuse?
well
PTSD. PTSD.
well you could say,
She ain't got shit on that.
emotional distress of dealing
Mm,
with
You know what angle
the
she'll use?
abuse and
Yes.
and feeling like she was backed into a corner, sort of like justified, you know, like trying to be justify it.
All right.
And maybe win the hearts of like one juror who maybe was abused or was abuse adjacent, and somebody who thinks that she did the right thing. I mean, we are talking about Oklahoma. There were people that agreed with her enough to commit this crime. So it's not too far off to think that there would be one juror on the jury that would think she's being a good grandma and she did the right thing. She was protecting her grandchildren.
What do you think if Grace and Cora, do you think they have to testify as part of their plea?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Then they're dead ducks.
CW also the original whistleblower of the case. You know, obviously she's the hero of the case, and she's gonna have to probably testify as well. That's gonna be another young person whose life has completely been ravaged by this case. And she's the one who talked to for anyone listening to us, she's the one who originally went to the police after seeing.
Listening to us.
Yeah.
But no, that's so sad, Ashley. She was the original person who called in at like 16 or whatever.
Yeah. She's Cora and what's the other guy's name? I want to call him Cole.
Cole, yeah.
Cole.
Yeah, Cole.
Trombley.
Cora and Cole. She's Cora's child, right? And Cole is her stepdad. Yeah. So, I mean, what a life for all these children involved. Everybody has families. Everybody's been completely turned upside down. And again, I mean, there's no winning here. Everybody has had their lives destroyed who is involved in this case.
Yeah.
But you can hope for justice, and it sounds like they're on the right track for that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so.
It doesn't get much better than having people actually who were co-conspirators turn on each other. I mean, it's sort of, at that point, it's just a feeding frenzy of who can get the best deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, which is kind of, you know, probably what is probably happening right now with Diddy.
One can hope. Okay, so then we left that case, and against popular opinion, we did not go and watch Basketball and Koberger.
What?
We went right into the courtroom.
Eric and I got right into Karen Reed. We started watching Emily almost immediately, and we were hooked.
Like, it was a question mark.
We infatuated.
Yeah.
You sucked the rest of us in. You sucked everybody else in.
The rest of you guys were so sucked in. Yeah. Sucked in. And we started watching live court. And I have to say, I know I said it once already in the stream, but watching live court, it sounds like it would be so boring, but it's like the best TV you're ever going to watch, especially when you have a commentator, a legal commentator who's super funny. And this case has characters that were like made up in like some kind of soap opera.
You want to sum it up real quick, like what it's about? So
let me sum up Karen Reed. Do you want to do it, Sophie, or do you want me to do
I'll do it.
I let Eric do it.
Okay, Karen Reed. It's the case with a girlfriend and a boyfriend cop are out drinking. They have a little bit of a tumultuous relationship in like lately in their lives. And they're at a bar drinking with a bunch of other cops, and they all leave, and they're supposed to go back to another cop's house. So everybody goes back, and Karen don't want to go in because she just don't like the people in there, and Higgins is there, who's like someone she's texting with, and so John gets dropped off, and probably he went in the house. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but Karen leaves and then she at 4:30 in the morning she wakes up, and John's not home yet. She makes a million phone calls to the people who live in the house, a couple other people, and they go back to the house. It's a crazy blizzard, crazy snowstorm, windy, crazy. Shouldn't even be driving. and they pull up to the house, and Karen sees John laying in a snowbank, and he's pretty much, uh, cut up, and they could not breathing, frozen, and she gives him CPR. And then he goes back to the hospital, passes away. So the case is, people are saying she hit him with the car because when she comes out of the car, she's like all frantic. She said, "Did I hit him? Did I hit him?" And there's people there like saying that she said that. So pretty much that's the case, whether she hit him or not. They arrest her for second-degree murder, and goes to court, and it's pretty much against cops.
Yep.
So, someone else want to go?
I mean, that the whole case is so sketchy. And it was like a snowstorm. You can see they were on the phone. There's like all this evidence, and there's no proof. There was no proof. There's zero proof they have that she did anything wrong. Zero proof. That's what I thought.
She also has an incredible legal team, and they have been so absolutely exhaustive in defending her and putting themselves on the line to defend her as well. There's like a huge movement of the Free Karen Reed movement is literally just wild, and it's being spearheaded by a guy named Turtle Boy. I remember hearing about him early on when I was watching Detective John. And Turtle Boy is a blogger who is from the area, and in my opinion, he was the reason why this case got so turned upside down, like from the inside out, like the town. He's from
all the
the area.
corruption.
Yeah. And he shone a light in a really heavy way on all the characters, the McCabe's, the McAlberts, all these people who, well, he called the Alberts. I
The
call them
McAlberts.
the McAlberts. But yeah, the Alberts, whose house John's body was found at, are Boston cops. And their best friend, Michael Proctor, the investigator, the lead investigator, was literally one of their best friends. And he was such a problematic witness because he was having text messages with all his buddies who were his superiors saying he was looking for nudes in Karen Reed's phone. He was promising that the Alberts would not be investigated or implicated in this case. He was absolutely disgusting, talking about her body and like her health issues, saying that he wishes she would kill herself. And like somehow, and he did not recuse himself from the case or say that he had a relationship with the Alberts or the McCabe's, when literally like the Alberts had their own son as a ring bearer at his wedding. So again, you've got a town that's like, I mean, it's a mid-sized town, right? It's it's a town in Boston.
Yeah.
But because of the scope of the size of the friend group, everyone's in the friend group. Like the victim was a cop, right? Like
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. I mean, that in and of itself is a huge deal.
Right.
Who investigates that? Then you go to the state police, I believe, at that point.
And Karen is a professional college professor in finance. She's a professional woman.
Right. She's an outsider.
She's an outsider.
Yeah, totally outsider.
But she's a professional woman in society.
Yeah.
And to me, the biggest kick in the pants that this case got is it is currently and was being investigated by the FBI. So they came in and they were doing an investigation at the exact same time that the real investigators were investigating it, or because they realized that this case was so dirty. So now you've got a court. So when we were watching court, the defense was able to use the FBI investigators as witnesses, but they couldn't tell the jury that it had been investigated by the FBI. And so they were kind of coming out with these really amazing witnesses who had all this, like Proctor's phone got extracted, like his personal phone got extracted by the FBI, where his text messages leaked out where he was saying like, oh, I'm looking for nudes in this retarded client's phone and this and that and the next thing, like really disgusting stuff, right, about Karen Read. But how they got that was the FBI had investigated Proctor and they couldn't tell the jury that. So the jury just thought that this had come from Turtle Boy, which Turtle Boy's just a blogger. Like he's not gonna get Proctor's phone.
Right. That was wild. That's just wild.
Like even got arrested. He got arrested and went to jail even over this.
And then you have the ARCA guys. Yeah. The ARCA guys were amazing. They're called the Crash Daddies. Like that's what people call them if you're part of the like Karen Read community. They're like these good-looking science guys who like investigated to see if it's even possible that John could have been killed by being hit by a car, right? And they built a rocket to to literally simulate the hitting of the vehicle. Like on a human being. Rocket? Yeah, they built a rocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were being cross-examined and they said like, so these were FBI witnesses, like these are people that you would get like from the highest level. They're called ARCA. It's a company that would like they're forensic company, right? And there were two Crash Daddies and they both testified that it would be basically impossible for this to have been a hit and run. You know, like this didn't come from a car. Also, you've got investigators that were collecting pieces of the vehicle, like the taillight, and blood in red Solo cups. Like the whole investigation should have just been thrown out. It was a complete insider disaster, a complete disaster. And but somehow like Lally and that whole Boston group, they want her to be guilty so bad because it has to be either she did it or the Alberts did it. It can't be that he just accidentally died. He didn't hit his head. He didn't fall down. Somebody killed him. So
also it makes the police department will be corrupt too, like
right.
Yeah,
basically the main reason. You know, they don't want the police department to look corrupt, even though it's corrupt as fuck.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and it did look corrupt as fuck during that trial.
It's so much to explain just on here, so I'm going to suggest there's a show called Crime Weekly that Stephanie Harlow and Derek Levasseur do, and it's essentially like a podcast, but it's Stephanie's like long form. They're doing like a 5 or 6 part series right now. So if anybody hasn't watched it, that's a really good breakdown. It's long, but it's short in comparison to how much we've watched.
Oh, yeah.
With the trial. Yeah.
And watching the trial is amazing. You learn a lot.
Amazing.
The lawyers, Karen's lawyers are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so in love with Alan Jackson.
He is that guy.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bad. No chain of custody. Yeah,
he was Phil Spector's lawyer.
Yeah. He came from. He's just so captivating. He's so easy to watch. He's so easy to listen to. He was really into it. So it ended with a hung jury, but what the twist to that is that the jury form or I guess the jury form is the right word for it. So the jury form didn't have an option for not guilty. There was no not guilty option. You basically had to not tick anything in order to choose not guilty. So they deliberated, and they deliberated longer than we thought. We all thought it was a slam dunk. All of LawTube thought it was a slam dunk, right?
Yeah.
And like everyone was saying, oh my God, she's like so obviously getting off. Like this is going to be so good. It's going to be amazing. Well, the jury form, if you watch, they came back and they argued about it after the jury had already been sent in with this stupid form. And apparently it's only done that way in that area of Boston where there's like no box to tick. that says not guilty. So you kind of get tricked into ticking something like manslaughter, or there's just no option. And so they tried to argue it, but it came out after the jury had already hung that they wanted to say not guilty on the main charge of murder, but they didn't know how. And they wanted to ask, but the foreman told them, nope, we can't ask, or something like that. Something really ridiculous.
And they took it to an appellate court, which is like
Mm-hmm.
5 or 6 judges, and they state their case, and then they
Okay.
rule on it. And it was like they wanted double jeopardy to defense, like
Yeah,
just
bad.
but it didn't work.
I see. You guys can't see chat, right? Get to
No, I
Duck
can't see
Alan
chat.
Jackson. Ellen Jackson's the prosecutor for Phil Spector, but Alan Jackson it says Alan Jackson prosecutor Phil Spector, but definitely attorney, I think, for Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, he's a Hollywood guy. He's a
Yeah.
California guy.
Yeah.
He is
Yes,
so fun to
he
watch.
wasn't defense for Harvey Spector.
Not to change the subject, but when you watch Alan Jackson and you watch Ann Taylor, there's a big fucking difference.
Well, yeah, for sure.
That's the difference between somebody you pay for, someone you pay for, and public.
I don't know. Yeah, and you kind of have like that for Idaho too. Like, I don't know how much that costs. It's got to cost a lot, right? $1 million.
Yeah, but they're not. It's not. Brian's not paying it.
Oh yeah, no, I meant to pay for an attorney. If you pay for an attorney, how many millions of dollars do you think cost?
Karen Reed, I heard she said they're like $2 million.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like they have ruined this woman's life. I mean, she has spent a fortune, and
I hope she still has her job.
YouTube, because YouTube has really had her back, and there are people on YouTube who are collecting for her Free Karen Reed fund. There's a lot of backing that she has. I mean, I think if it wasn't going to be for that Free Karen Reed movement, I think she would have gone mental.
Yeah.
Being
frank. It's like over 400,000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, gosh, it's kind of like there's just not enough evidence. That's the thing. There's just not. Like when for farther into the year, if we were to talk about the Indiana, the bridge guy thing, it didn't seem like there was enough evidence there either.
It's crazy some of the things that
the communities. They used to have community meetings. They're sticking a kid in corruption. Like there were community meetings every week about that.
Every week. Yeah.
That's why she got so much support.
Yeah.
Also.
Well, everybody wants the police force to be straight and narrow, you know?
So
you'd like to think that's what's going on in your community.
From an entertainment standpoint, so now that this jury has hung the first time around, we're getting another trial, and that should be in February. Am I correct on that?
I think so.
Or end of January, February, yeah.
So January and February, there will be a new trial. And not only that, the prosecution hired WadeWilson's lawyer, and he's going to be the head prosecutor, and Lally's still there. He's insanely boring. He is the most boring human being on the planet to listen to. But he's not going to be the head. He's going to be the assistant or something like that.
It's hard when you wake up at 8 in the morning and you got to listen to Lally.
Oh, yeah, he is hard. He is a tough person to listen to. But because the case itself is so intriguing, it wasn't that hard. But yeah, so the new lawyer, the WadeWilson lawyer, and they're retrying the whole entire thing. It's going to be
April
contentious.
1st. Oh, it's on April 1st.
Oh, wow.
Get you says that they moved it to April Fool's Day.
Did they?
No, stop.
Great.
Stop. Great. Oh, my
So
goodness.
it gives us all the chance to watch it all over again. We are going to be watching it on Emily D. Baker's channel again.
When you bounce around between all those channels, I like to get Peter's wrap up, so I don't have to watch during the whole day. But he does like a good little 30-40 minute wrap.
I got me hooked on trials though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be super interesting because there's no way, like since this trial, Michael Proctor, the head investigator, the super corrupt one, has been put on administrative leave, right? And he's now like, quite a few things have happened. I don't think Higgins is going to want to retestify. He's like hit the road. I mean, I don't know how you recall people like that,
The
but
Sandra Birchmore thing blew up too,
yeah.
which has other cops that they were involved in both cases.
Mm-hmm. I'm intrigued how they're going to tackle um, having a jury this time around, because I feel like it's going to be much harder to get a jury that doesn't know about the FBI investigation. I feel like it's going to be a much more uphill climb for the prosecution. I think she's going to be cleared this time around. And if you give Alan Jackson a second time to go ahead and defend her, he's going to see all the holes. He's going to have watched his whole, trial, I bet, and he's going to have a brand new way of coming at these things, and I think he's going to just nail it. That's my prediction going
I
into
also think that
2025.
jury was scared because they were going against cops.
Yeah.
First jury.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that there was any backing behind Karen Reed, in my opinion. They didn't know.
How could they? Yeah, good point. Good point. Were they sequestered? They weren't sequestered, right? They were able to go home.
So if you watch that trial, somebody had to be looking them down or something, because all the evidence was so obvious that Karen didn't do it. And all the witnesses the prosecution had were terrible.
Oh, Trooper Paul, who did
Trooper Paul, the worst testimony
crash.
I've ever seen.
What about that? Gitu mentions when Higgins called the thing last week, trying to disguise.
Oh, she knows about that? Oh my gosh, that's so neat. I love that. Yes, Higgins called. That's so funny you said that. Get to talking points.
JFK, right?
We watched that and we were
JFK,
rolling. It was totally Higgins, where he's like, "You better watch what you say because those are some really decorate. Will you apologize?" And they're like, "Is this Higgins?"
Yeah, we got
Higgins
you,
was
bro.
my favorite. Higgins was my absolute favorite. When he was reading out those text messages, I was rolling. My stomach literally hurt when he's like, "Hot emoji, question mark."
We made memes about him.
We made memes about him. Yeah, we were talking like Higgins for like weeks. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's hard not to. And like Bev's like, I'll allow it.
We think Higgins and Brian Albert or Colin Albert actually did it, beat up John, and they mean to kill him, but like he was afraid he hit his head, and then they just dragged him outside because we didn't bring up How's long to die in the cold.
Long?
Yeah, Jen McCabe's Google searches. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to bring up in this case. It could take hours, but that was huge. Like Jen McCabe is totally in on whatever the crime is here, because she was Googling how long to die in the snow, like at 2 a.m. far before Karen Reed had asked her to look up to see if he could have been killed in the snow. And also, I'm going to suggest, if anybody wants to see the reason why we think Higgins and Brian Albert are like directly involved, go over to Microdots or Aussie Insider and watch the video from inside the bar. They are zoomed in. It's crystal clear. I hope it comes out in court. And it looks like there was a fight brewing. Like, it looks
did you see that? Get
the body language.
That was good. I was like,
oh. She also mentioned that Higgins was trying to pick up Karen, like too. Like,
definitely. Yeah, that's what Gitu says. AJ Cross Higgins. So Karen was ignoring you.
Yeah, he ghosted.
Got ghosted.
What does ghosted mean?
I love the Get to Ducking Point. Watch that. That's awesome. That makes me so happy because that trial is so entertaining, and it's awful that Karen got framed. But at the same time, like, I think that she's gonna have a blowout win this time around. Yeah. And we're gonna get another trial, which is gonna be like a highlight for 2025. Something to look forward to.
Agreed.
Definitely. Definitely can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I just want her to get free.
Me too. And her dad, her family, like they've been through so much. I mean, that would be so hard, but they've all been like behind her 100%, which has been amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, she has a lot of support, but it would be so difficult. So we've got that to
Well,
look forward to 2025. Also, at the same time that this was going on, we weren't paying attention, but the Wade Wilson trial was happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But we missed the trial. We missed the trial, but we
Well, we
got
were
to
watching the Karen Reed
witness.
trial in our defense.
Yeah, and we witnessed to the like
It did
insanity.
rock our world though.
Yeah, the insanity of his prison, like just his experience going on in there, and all the women,
Jail calls.
So
jail
phone
calls,
calls
Pablo.
from
all the women,
prison.
so many women like not like I'm not gonna say throwing themselves at him, but like being so like involved with him emotionally and sexually and stuff where it's like, what are you doing? What's going on here? It's very strange. It's very sad.
I don't remember how phone calls from prison came into my like algorithm in any way. I think I had watched like a couple of them before.
Pablo, it's Jumpsuit Pablo. That's his
Well,
name.
I watched it first on phone calls from prison, like that
Oh,
channel got me
I didn't know
first.
it had its own channel. Gotcha.
I think you
Yeah,
introduced me to it, Ashley.
phone calls from prison was like I originally listened to his phone calls where he was admitting to the crimes of like with Mila and his dad. And then it just like blew up that there's this whole group of women who are totally obsessed with this insane man and were like tattooing his name on them.
Yeah.
And
His
this went on
phone
for
calls all
5 years
got
before the
leaked.
trial. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I said that. I mean, this went on for 5 years before the trial.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. The recording of it is wild. Like the fact that they have so many people. I don't know. It's depraved is what it is. It's sad.
So let's get into it.
What was the next one after Karen Reed?
Wade.
After Wade, I mean.
Well, let's talk about Wade. We put a lot of time into Wade.
Well, I mean, you guys did. I didn't pay as much attention, but I love Jumpsuit
we can give
Pablo.
the gist of the story, though.
Yeah, you should actually. One of you guys should actually explain what he did because I know so little other than I remember him saying something about she looked like spaghetti. Like he ran over the woman, right? He ran over his girlfriend.
No. I'll start this here so you can take your phone calls, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so he goes out with Mila, his girlfriend. He's basically a grifter. Like he's had a lot of trouble in his life, a lot of SA charges, but none of them really stuck. And he goes out to a nightclub or something, and he's with his supposedly the girl he lives with or whatever, and he meets another girl, and him and some guy and these girls they go back to this girl's house, but they take Mia's car, and they are hanging out, whatever. I guess he hooks up with this girl, and then the guy kicks him out of the house, and then this girl brings Wade back to her house, and then whatever they fool around, whatever, and he winds up killing her. And he wraps her up in a sheet or bedspread or something, and then he's trying to get in touch with Mila, and so he goes to she owns a spa. He goes there and he beats her up in the middle of the street in front of a bunch of people. Takes off and he's hanging out in the parking lot. A cop approaches him. He runs away in the car. Then he's driving down the street. Some girl's walking to work. Picks her up. Winds up strangling her. Dumps her off in a wooded area. Then he driving around, I guess, all frantic, cracked out, or whatever he was doing. He blamed it on some kind of drugs. And he finds a house to hide in. And but he's calling people, telling them kind of what he did the whole time. And then talks to his father, and his father's like, gets on the phone, talks to him. He's like, well, you should turn yourself in. Meanwhile, his father calls the cops on him, and he gets arrested.
Yeah.
So then he gets arrested. He's charged with, like you figure it all out. Then he's charged with 2 murders. So he's in prison, and he's got all these tattoos on his face. They call him the Deadpool killer. He's a total piece of shit. And so he's in jail for like 5 years. But the whole time in jail, he's making these phone calls to people. Like, and he's like, women are supporting him, and like he's begging people for money, calling the news. Like he's just trying to get money, and he tells his girlfriend he did it, and his father he did it. All right, and then all these crazy phone calls come out.
Yeah, the phone calls were the thing. Like, I knew about the crime, obviously, like, it was awful. And I'd seen the tattoo face thing, and it didn't really spark my
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
Like, he was so clearly guilty. Again, it was just kind of like, okay, well, like, hopefully he got, like, it didn't dawn on me that he had these, like, personality of, he's like, created a wagerverse. Like there's definitely a group of people who are so into this. Again, another subculture true crime group. So his phone calls are available online, and phone calls from prison has accessed them, and they started leaking them like one at a time, at a time, at a time. And you get this like whole snapshot of this guy's life from inside jail. We learned about the kiosk, like he was always asking for $20 like every day. It was kind of like the lighter side of things. I mean, as terrible as the crime was, the phone calls were genuinely so crazy and funny because he
Yeah.
was hooking up with these gals on the kiosk who would be adding him. I mean, I guess there's a segment of women who are super into that kind of thing and like add criminals on this tablet.
They thought he
And
was a
then
good-looking guy too.
if the
Like,
criminals want to talk to them, they will talk to them, and then you could like text them. You can pay to text them. You give them money for honey buns. So, anyways, he was like doing all that, and he had all these characters. So we've unlocked so many characters, and I kind of lost interest with it, like after a bit, because it's like, okay, we kind of know already what happened, but he's in jail for the rest of his life. He's on death row,
Thank
but
God.
his whole shtick, he in my opinion is one of the most dangerous people, because since then he's essayed somebody within jail. He's OD'd. He's gotten women to bring drugs into jail, um, and she's in jail now. He has he is a very manipulative human being. He's raised a shit ton of money. A lot of the women are coming from like Germany, and they still do TikTok lives talking about him and talking about getting him out and getting him a new lawyer and all this stuff. And the guy is totally like admitted to killing these two women in cold blood. So I hope he stays there for the rest of his life. I know he will. I hope he gets the death penalty. I don't think he will. It sounds like the death penalty might come off it's not that common, or it's pretty common for death penalty thing to just kind of go by the wayside, but they end up being in jail for life. But the way that he's manipulated these women, it goes to show you that he's a very, very dangerous person. And what's interesting is there is going to be a documentary. There's probably going to be a Netflix something or other with a lot of the people from this case. And I should have said that's also going to happen in the Karen Reed case. There's multiple documentaries going on at the same time,
Yeah.
following different characters, and they're probably going to get released to Netflix. And the funny thing is like us as true crimers, like we always think that they've missed so much because we watch it from start to finish,
Right.
right? Yeah. But I
That's
think Turtle Boy's involved in it in the Karen Reed case, and it sounds to me like Mila has a deal, and Kelly, his ex girlfriend, has a deal with the Wade thing, and Bunny XOXO was gonna get involved. Jelly Roll's girlfriend, or wife. My apologies, his wife.
everybody's
Um,
got wild nicknames.
Yeah, and she did have a couple phone calls that she released on her Patreon with him. And she tried to really just stand her ground and say, like, I'm not paying you. No one's paying you. We just want your side of things. We want to kind of hear from you. We're into true crime.
Get to
And he,
Ducking wants to know what we would do if we had access to Wade's money. Would we keep talking to him, or would we just take all his money?
oh, I would never want to talk to him. I mean,
oh yeah, he's gross.
Yeah, there's nothing in me that thinks he's so gross. He's
I
so
don't get it.
gross.
I don't get it. He has like he has like a swastika on his face, I think. Yeah. I think there was like, I mean, there's some pretty gross things going on there.
Yeah.
Not
And I
into it.
mean, a lot of people who have different type of channels. Again, another set of channels we got into. It's like
Yeah.
JD Delay, Jumpsuit Pablo, like YouTube Streets. We've joined their Discord.
Oh my God, I love JG Delay. His Alaska Avengers is back in his out of jail too. That was really good. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, like we like learned all this new stuff. We learned about the kiosk that from that, but
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of the
wild.
people covering it are ex-cons, so they got really intensely into this case because they could see that his cons from inside jail, and they were very much like critical of not only him but the people that were kind of like going along with his cons and seeing how he was, playing these women and like living the lavish prison life. And I guess that's a thing. Like that's like a real thing that
Yeah.
can happen. He was playing men, playing women, trying to get those honey buns, trying to hustle. And then he got like bigger money and he stops asking for the honey buns. But now he's like more just trying to create like a buzz around his name and stay relevant. And yeah, I mean it's created a lot of buzz. A lot of people on TikTok talk about him a lot still to this day.
Did Wade get his teeth knocked out in prison?
So he
Yeah.
got some tattoos on his face he shouldn't have gotten.
Yeah.
He was trying to claim the Outlaw Gang, or no, what gang was it? The Unforgiven. The Unforgiven.
Yep.
Yeah, he was trying to claim Unforgiven and say he was an enforcer for the Unforgiven. And in doing that, he put like kind of a green light on himself,
Wow.
and also was caught having gay sex with men, which is like not an unforgiven thing to do, apparently.
They don't forgive that.
They do not forgive that.
My favorite part of this case was watching him get sentenced to death 2 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never
His
seen that
sentence.
before, but watching it and knowing his shit, it was probably one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
sad.
you like that. Yeah.
It was sad. I said it. I'm like,
I did
it's
like
sad to see that, but it's not. It's
That
so
wasn't enough of that piece of shit.
yeah, he's vile. He's a vile human. That was the hardest part for me watching the phone or listening to the phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
He
He's
shouldn't
a
even been
vile
walking
human.
the streets, that guy. There's more to it. He shouldn't even been out.
No, yeah, he shouldn't have been out of prison. Yeah, exactly. He should never have been out.
It's all Mila's fault.
Yep. Oh, that poor, yeah, and her life ruined too. Like all these lives ruined around him. Anyways,
Her life should be ruined.
I think there was a lot of drugs involved with these
yeah.
people.
Oh
A
gosh.
lot of illicit shit,
Oof.
and just
That's hard.
it's so sad from like the Christine Milton and that poor woman just walking home.
Exactly.
I mean,
Diane.
like these people had just like disastrous lives, and then to collide with that person and seeing how he's able to manipulate women to the point where like there are women out there that want him to like talk about the fantasy of like almost killing them, or I don't know, it's really weird, but it's really like gone to show that there's a lot of mental illness out there.
I don't blame drugs at all. That guy was a piece of shit all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He had a
Oh
bunch of.
yeah.
He
It
I
looked
think
his
just
record up. He even
he did like
SA'd
meth.
Mila.
You have to admit.
She let him out of jail. He's a broke bitch, though. He ain't got money for drugs. I followed that. He's broke.
Yeah, he always was broke. That's true. Mila did say that.
He's a dummy.
He's a dummy, and he's not worth our time to take up too much time. So we'll move on real quick.
Yeah, what's next?
Okay.
Yeah. So we got into the Ashley Benefield trial, and that is Eric's baby. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to explain every case every time.
Yeah. That's good.
But she was on trial for killing her husband, right?
Staying your ground law. Yes, like staying your ground law in Florida.
Yeah, like he. Yeah. It was,
and we followed it on the Melanie Little, on Melanie's channel. Melanie Little's channel is also a lawyer, and that was gavel to gavel. We followed it, and it was a hard watch, that one.
Yeah, it was so sad to see, and it was hard to see. I remember we were like talking about it, and it was really hard to see how they couldn't see it. We could all see this like domestic abuse, and we could see the trauma, and you could see her when she was on the stand. When she was on the stand, it was
those
so
prosecutors
hard.
are awful people.
That was brutal. I had such a hard time watching that, and I was really grateful that Melanie kept such a tight chat, because her chat was so positive for people who had experienced any type of like, domestic violence.
Yeah.
But all the other, like the big ones, like Court TV and Law and Order, Law and Crime, they really were like flaming her any chance they got. And it was shocking.
Weird. Yeah.
I mean, that guy was a piece of shit.
Shooting
guns, knocking
dogs
out.
Punched her dog.
Punched the dog.
Punched the dog.
Yeah, he kicked didn't he punch a hole, or he shot a gun in the house?
Yeah, through the ceiling.
Yeah.
No, it was. What did you guys think of their experts? Did they have good enough experts to explain what domestic violence was? I thought they did a good job. I
thought they did too.
I thought they did an incredible job, but for some reason that Florida jury wasn't having it.
Which is so dangerous, because it's like, if you can have, like, stand your ground has to exist, and you know, she had a pretty good case for it.
Definitely.
All the guys' PowerPoint presentation, everything was incredible. I mean, we had all discussed this before, and how we kind of like we knew, you could see it, the physicality of it,
right? And the pattern of her leaving him. She left him, and he kept coming back.
Yeah. And she tried everything she could to get away from him. It was.
I know there was a kid involved, but.
And he used a lot of manipulation tactics that are pretty classic. Like, he used a lot of like religious doctrines, and she had those beliefs also, and she was young, and she was trying to be, appeasing to him. It was really hard to watch. That one was a tough trial. And when she got sentenced, I mean, she looked like she broke in half, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. That was another one that was. That's when I was saying that earlier. It was Richard Allen.
Yeah, that one crushed me.
Yeah, you got crushed.
That crushed me.
Eric was crushed because he knew that she didn't.
Afraid there was so much evidence like that he was a bad person then.
Yeah. Like just a really, it was incredible. It was weird. It was actually, I just said that, but it was strange because
it was more mental abuse than physical abuse.
Right, but the guy on their witness guy, he pointed all of it out, and he said all those
jury
things.
Just didn't get it.
Yeah, it was like they checked out for that whole day. Because that was he was on the stand forever.
He was stalking the house. She was moving. She moved away, and and he kept coming.
Why do you guys think that she was such a target for the general public? Like, why was there not more empathy for her? What are your guys' what's your take on that? Because I've thought about that a few times, and I can't really pinpoint it.
I'm not sure. I think a lot of times it's part of the domestic violence, domestic abuse type situations where a lot of times the victim is blamed, and maybe that's it. But I actually don't know the logic behind that.
I'm gonna say because there wasn't much physical abuse.
Hmm.
That's the only thing I don't believe that, but I'm just saying like because they didn't never he never really hit her. He shot a
Oh, she
gun through
didn't
the
show up
ceiling
with.
rather than hitting her. He punched the dog rather than hitting her, like stupid shit like that. But I still
She
he's
never had a
just
black eye. You're saying?
yeah. Well, and then they're like, oh, he pushed her and she cut herself on the back. It's been building up and building up. She left him and he kept coming back. That's why I understand her point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
She had a
works.
court order of protection against them that they wouldn't approve.
I think for me, I think it might have been her ties to being like conservative, having guns, um, the Donald Trump ties, like she worked for Trump for his campaign. I think there were a lot of people that kind of didn't sympathize with her as somebody that wasn't in control of the situation. Like, I think a lot of people thought she was the one manipulating the situation
Yeah,
and didn't see that she was like 23 years old. Like, when, like, I mean, I'm not old, but I'm not 23 years old. And when I remember, like, I tell you guys, like, my stories from like when I was like in my early 20s and like the dumb shit I did. And
right.
like, I think back and I think like I thought I was like really smart and in control of this stuff, but I definitely wasn't. Like, and there was always older men involved a lot of the time, for me and like some of the stuff that like, I was up to. And
Well,
Predators.
I thought I
well,
was like definitely like in control of it, but I wasn't. Like life experience is something that you don't have until you have it. And,
exactly.
like
Right.
you only see it later on in life and you're like, oh my God, I was totally
Street
like,
smarts is a big thing.
yeah. And like she was like in her like early 20s and this man was like a full ass, like almost like what, 50s, like something like that. Like he was like a 50 something year old man.
He
Like
married
it's
her in
way
16
different. He's like
days,
double her age.
right?
Yeah, he
They got
way
married in
too.
16 days.
Yeah,
I
he had like a full grown daughter. Like she was just starting her life. She wanted to have kids. Like this man was, taking advantage of, like, in my opinion, like her kind of wide-eyed, like,
oh
oh,
yeah.
he's treating me like a princess. He's texting me all these like proverbs, like just kind of, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think she was completely blameless in the relationship, like having moved forward so fast. But it is something that like young people do get into, like is like bad relationships, You don't see the red flags because you haven't experienced red flags.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, that was the whole her and she's beautiful. She was gorgeous. And I
I
wonder if
Yeah,
still,
that was anything. Do you think that causes some issues with juries?
I can't
maybe.
believe women sided like against her.
They were
Oh,
calling her the Black Swan because she had like been a
right.
professional ballerina. Like she had a lot going for her. She had a lot of good things in her life. And I mean, like, I don't know. I found that case like so sad because it could have been avoided. He definitely knew he was doing the wrong thing by marrying her after like 2 weeks because he hid it from everybody. He didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, that was
You know?
so weird. Like his
Yeah,
brother didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh
I
yeah,
thought it
and
was
the family being in the court, I think had a big sway on people as well. They were taking liberties and like crying out, and like the daughter was coming and going as she pleased. The
That
daughter
was
was very
that was so
what
critical.
about
tacky.
what about
So
the
rude.
cousin, creepy cousin who's like trying to hit on her?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
think
was
it
it
was just
the
step
brother?
back.
Her husband's brother was hitting on her too, right?
Yeah. She was just a piece of meat. They just saw her as a piece of meat. They weren't,
Yeah.
trying to like think about what was best for her, in my opinion. It was just all, treating her like a object.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's partially like abusive in and of itself. Like I think she got in over her head. She tried to get out. She couldn't get out. And it's hard for women to leave. That is usually when men escalate or when partners escalate into
Yeah.
violence. You know, it's
Yeah.
not normally when they still feel like they have a chance. So the timing did add up. I don't know. That was a hard one. We watched it. It seemed like the trial went super fast.
Mm-hmm. It did.
And yeah, and Melanie's was a great place to watch that. I haven't really watched a trial gavel to gavel on Melanie's, but she was playing it, so we wanted to follow it, so that's where we followed it.
I mean, she
One thing,
filed court papers too. Like this,
Yeah. They did dehumanize her.
like she said, he poisoned her. There was a lot of stuff. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
This wasn't
Mhm.
like they had a fight one day and she shot him. This,
No, yeah, it was
this was
years.
going
It
on.
was
You know, she left the
years.
house. He kept following her. He was trying to buy a house behind the house she lived in. It was a lot, you know,
oh yeah, he did that.
What?
not a-
I didn't remember that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't your model citizen.
Oh,
No.
Felt like he owned her.
yeah. Yeah.
But-
Was that after Micah Miller? Wait, you talk about Micah Miller.
Well, I don't know that we have time to do all of them, but
No, we don't.
Can we go to Diddy? Because we've
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
following Diddy.
Oh,
Top
yeah.
it off, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good wrap up because that's gonna go right into the new year.
Oh, yeah.
That might last 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You can't wait.
Right. The diddler.
Like
The
right now,
Diddler.
all I see are channels saying he's a.
Oh, I just want to say one
Freaking
thing. God bless Ashley Benefield.
Is she,
Aw.
is she appealing?
She lost it.
She Ducking wants to know if Ashley's appealing.
She lost the appeal.
Oh, she lost it. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough.
Wow.
So how Diddy kind of came into everybody's radar. I mean, if you weren't into like that culture, I think was the Cassie video. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
The Cassie video, the Cassie lawsuit. Oh, I'm gonna have to mute you guys.
All right. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think that's what it was. I think that Cassie video was so alarming to see.
Yeah, and the public got it. Somebody leaked it.
Oh, whoever leaked it, I guess. Yay! I'm glad they leaked it, and it was just
People say it was CNN.
Yeah, I mean, it needed to be leaked. People needed to see that, to see through it, because I'm sure there's still a good portion of society that hasn't seen it. You know?
Yeah, so that video put him on the radar where they were trying to get the RICO case against him for trafficking. And you can only get a RICO case if you're trafficking drugs, like women. And it has to be like it has to be a bunch of stuff. So so when they raided his house, they did that to get a RICO on him. And that's where they found all sorts of crazy shit that turned into
oh my God,
all these white parties and what he was doing. And then he got everyone in their mother coming out saying, I was there, he did this, he did this. Not many people sticking up for him.
There's like nobody sticking up for him. And there's like even his best buddy has turned on him already.
So would it take like 3 months, Sophie, for them to actually lock him up after they raided the two houses?
I think sounds right. Maybe less. Like a little less than that, because it was like fast. I mean, that progressed all that
fast, but not as fast as we wanted it.
No, and that's the thing with I'm patiently waiting, because there's no way that judge that ruled the other day on the Jay-Z thing, there's no possible way that is not going to be involved here someplace with Diddy. No way. Come on.
Well, no. The charges Diddy and Jay-Z, both of them.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jay-Z tried to back out of it, and there was no way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also weird too. So he I guess he's sticking up for Diddy, but probably because his name is involved.
The raid on the house was this summer, right? When was the raid on the house, Eric?
I'm trying to think. It was probably towards the end of the summer, right? Like, or maybe like I'm trying
August?
to. So how long? He's been in jail for like? Nah, I don't think he's been in jail for 4 months. Trying to think, what was the first holiday he was trying to get out for?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Had
he
to
had
be
3
like,
appeals, so maybe October.
all right. And
Can you
that
look it?
is,
Can you look it up quick?
yeah.
Uh, okay, so then we get all this stuff out of his house. No one knew anything. We're like, oh, FBI hit raided both of his houses, whatever. But then it was quiet for maybe 2 months or whatever. And then all of a sudden they arrest him in New York.
Yeah.
And then within 2 days, Tony Busby comes out with like 140 civil suits
Oh,
against him.
we were all way off. In the aftermath, it says the March 25th were the raids.
Well, the raids, but when was the
Oh,
yeah, but the arrest was until like October, right? No, yeah, October. Because he's been in prison pretty long.
September 17th, September 16th.
Okay.
Arrested in Manhattan at the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, September. Yeah, it was September. Yeah, and
Tony Busby. Yeah. So Tony Busby came out with all those suits. What, like a week later, maybe?
Oh, I love it. I love it. They've got more info. There's no way these high-powered attorneys are coming forward with not more info than we're seeing. Is what I think.
Yeah. And then all these suits come out, and then you're hearing 9-year-old kids and boys, girls, and all these white parties and drugging people. Crazy, and other famous people involved, all of Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio, the Kardashians, Ray J, just who else? LeBron James, all these crazy names are coming out. Jay-Z, Beyonce. So that just shocked the whole world to totally, blew everybody. It's probably
because it's more
5 million people on YouTube. Right. And you got Jaguar Wright, who's been knew a lot about this stuff in the in the underworld because she's from there. Like she was in the music business, who's been talking about this for like 2-3 years.
Right. And so has Cat Williams.
Yeah, Cat Williams, and who's the other guy? Oh, Jamie Foxx.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? that whole story of him with his family at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Getting harassed was so weird. So strange.
And the reason they say it came out is because he owns Ciroc and the company. He was part of Ciroc and this company Diageo was owned the company or gave him $1 billion and it wasn't enough. And they know some powerful people and supposedly they exploited this. I heard that from Sean Atwood.
Yeah. Oh, I love Sean Atwood. And a lot of people.
Great to follow if you ever want to follow this, like hardcore, intense stuff. Sean Atwood's the way to go.
Oh my God. He's on all day long.
I don't know Pascal, like me.
Jamie Foxx got harassed at a restaurant. He went there with his family. I mean, there was a crew of people that were there from, I want to say Jackass. Let's just say Jackass. I think that's what the show was. It wasn't the known people that were from the show. So it was a group of people that worked on a show and they had some private table also. And then they harassed him. He was there with his daughters. And I think they maybe put a lit up, a light up dick or something on his table. They did something fun weird. They did something completely unnecessary ever.
Oh, hey, to Jamie Foxx. Hey, what's up?
Hey. So who do we think is next to be? Because it's a RICO case. The Diddy case is a RICO case,
right?
Right. So RICO would
definitely Jay-Z, and then we got Celebrity
J-Lo.
B. Celebrity B. Yep.
Yeah.
Probably J-Lo. Most likely J-Lo, if not
Who do we
Beyonce.
think is cooperating? Because I mean, you got to know
Diddy.
people are cooperating.
Diddy's going to cooperate all he fucking can because he's not going to get any bail, and the only way he's going to get any leeway of any kind ever is to just turn on it.
You know, I think is cooperated and is going to sink him.
Ashton Kutcher?
Justin Bieber. No, Justin Bieber.
Oh, I feel so bad. Okay, so everybody who knows me knows I am a believer. 100%. I love Bieber. If you guys didn't see my profile picture prior, it was literally me wearing a Bieber t-shirt. So that should tell you all you need to know. But I also follow like all these like blind item channels or blind item TikTok channels, I guess you would say. And there's a lot of blind items saying he is struggling so friggin' hard with his like drug addiction after this Diddy thing because it's brought up so much trauma. And the tapes definitely do exist, the freak off tapes with Bieber. And he wants to go, if you believe the blind items, and the blind items are very like they're almost always bang on, right? So he needs to go to rehab again, but he's afraid that he might get killed in rehab. That's the newest blind item for Bieber. Because he, could be cooperating and definitely would cooperate. I mean, he's got a good life. He like almost escaped being, a part of this whole Hollywood thing. And he's got a wife. He's got a kid now. He's out of
That's why he's going to do it for the family.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he pulls through because it's really tough having drug addiction and like trauma and try to like look after yourself and then be a hero at the same time. Like that would be difficult, you know?
Well, maybe that's just a farce. Maybe he has a little baby at home, you know what I mean? Maybe it's fine, but they want people to think that, so, you know.
Yeah, we'll
Have you
never
seen
So they don't
recent
think he's
photos
the
of him?
whistleblower.
He looks really sad.
Yeah, recent photos of him, he's not looking great.
Get to ask Eric what about Diddy's former proteges like Mace and other people.
Oh, like Mace has spoken. Mace has spoken about that
and said,
and he said he's literally the worst. I mean, he has been really vocal about Diddy.
Yeah,
like I said, he don't have much support. Even Jay-Z came out and said, "We ain't friends."
Yeah,
I wonder what his reaction was. And there's another TikTok that I just saw today or yesterday, but apparently he had a breakdown during Christmas, like a total mental breakdown. He really thought he was going to be getting that bail, and he wanted to go to the hospital. Yeah.
I thought he was hunger striking or something, right?
Yeah, he had a mental breakdown. Yeah, and tried to go to the hospital, but they said no, and he's in there. And it looks like bail is going to be a hard pass for him. And yeah, I mean, it sounds like this could be the unraveling of
the breaking
urban
point.
Hollywood, you know?
All of it.
We're seeing Beyonce change her last name, right?
Yep.
They know what's coming. And you know what's interesting that the FBI director said there, or the DA or whatever you like, I forget who did the press conference, but in any case, he said the people who are implicated know that they're implicated. And you saw that, J-Lo got separated from Ben Affleck like right prior to this all coming out. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Ashton Kutcher, Mila left him.
LeBron left the NBA.
No, he came back quick though.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
Oprah and Gail left someplace to their own island.
Yeah.
Just kidding. That's just
speculation.
They're blaming that on Trump though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's not why.
Ellen, yeah.
I think we're going to get some big names. I don't think we're going to get all the big names we want.
And because they're going to pay them off.
Yeah, we're not going to get them all, but we are going to get the ones that they can prove. And I have my own Jay-Z story, and I will tell that one time, but it was...
we can't wait.
Yeah.
We can't wait for you to tell that story, Ashley.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking Diddy's going to spill the beans soon.
I think so.
He's gonna try and cough up someone bigger than himself, but who is bigger than Diddy?
Jay-Z.
Obama.
Oprah.
Obama. Oh, those are all good. Just get to Ducking Point. Have one bigger than Diddy.
Yeah. Oh, get to Ducking. There's that one. That's funny. They said I follow a lot of Harlem former drug dealers, is what she said.
Oh yeah, like,
that's really funny.
The pink cocaine thing is wild.
I love the guy with the soundboard, and he has like good. Today I saw it.
Well, that's what they were doing, right, Ashley? Like Diddy.
Yeah. They were doing pink cocaine to the point. I mean, for those people in healthcare, I mean, to the point you have to rehydrate people and give them their electrolytes back. I mean, you're basically on the brink of death. People can go into seizure. People can have strokes. There are so many things that can happen once you get to the point of needing to be rehydrated. And I'm not talking like people that do that for fun, like after a hangover. It's like to the point that your body is breaking down. And it sounds like that's what happened during those freak offs. And they must have people that will testify about that. Wow. And they've got it all on tape. He thought that he was keeping this as like an Epstein thing, like his insurance policy, that he would never go to jail.
He's going to blackmail you because you're on tape.
He'll get to what pink cocaine is.
It's basically like ketamine. It's
You want me to take that?
Let Eric tell. It's not just ketamine.
No, it's synthetic. It's ecstasy.
Yeah,
cocaine,
way more than ketamine.
Meth. It's all a mixed stuff.
It's awful.
There's some kind of hallucinogenic in it.
Is there also ketamine in it?
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I haven't never seen it. I'm just going by what I read.
It's such a wild. It's just this wild.
That's one of the drugs I have. That's one of the drugs I haven't done.
It's a wild mixture to me. Like what?
But it's supposedly hallucinogenic in it. Well,
oh God! That's so
some
evil.
Kind of
mind
control. Like
and Diddy had a detox in jail. Yeah, he did.
People say Liam might have been on that. like that, like
what?
Close to it's like angel dust. Close to like some,
scary.
Which is PCP. They said it's a mixture of a bunch of what exactly it is.
But while we're on that topic, I just want to say we are missing some of our main characters. Like it's the three of us here, but like we have just been missing our best friends who are like
the rest of our team.
Yeah, who are our mods.
And we have an amazing research team.
Yeah, like
they have people who do the other half of our work.
Yeah, but like they can never normally do the late nights because we're all in different time zones, and everyone's kind of been catering to me a little bit, because I work nights, and so like, and nights are kind of like we like being night owls, but at the same time we don't like being night owls because we really miss people like Happy Faces. They do watch our replays. They do give us comments. They do give us our research. We have one girl who Liam is her story. We are not covering Liam without her. She is like one of our best friends, and we absolutely love her, and we couldn't do this show without any.
Yeah, there are more major parts to this show.
Disclaimer. Yeah.
More major parts that are part of this show that help us out dearly.
Yeah, you guys have seen Happy and Pebbles in the chat. All those girls are just amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, it takes more than 3 people to do this, I guess, right?
Yeah,
to
do it well.
Yeah, well, we have a team that we built over the last 8 months, and
we've stayed together the whole time. And we love each other.
Yep, it's strong. We got some bond we have, and
we get a kick out of it, and people see us come into chats, and they're like, "Oh, there's that group." It's like, well, all we do is like we binge like true crime, and we like just chat with each other about it. Like we
know what we're talking about too.
Yeah. Koberger and basketball.
Koberger and basketball. Yeah.
We're not just spitballing bullshit.
Yeah, we get super into this stuff, and anybody's welcome here to chat with us about, even if we like had a pass with people and they're like worried that they're not able to chat, like we would say chat, because that's what we do. We just pop back in, We'll
Yeah.
chat. If something's interesting, we pop in the chat, and so that this channel's no different.
Me and Ashley bomb chats all day.
Yeah, we love. Yeah, we do. Get to ducking. So excited to come into Carrie Moody. That was fun. We love
Yeah,
her.
that was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Carrie's been awesome. I've chatted with her on Facebook, and I've chatted with her
Really nice lady.
privately, and she's just been super duper nice and like
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Like, obviously, I know she had a big loss in her life, but she's got found YouTube to be a pretty good place for her to like, you know, not think about that and like focus on the good that she does. So,
Yeah.
her and Tara have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Her and Tara are great.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into everything they've done. It's really cool. It was fun
Straight to the
chatting.
point. No bullshit over there. They
Yeah.
tell you what you know. Give you a
And
lot of
yep,
information.
yeah, it's nice to see
Yep.
Yep in my community posts, and I hope she comes over here. That would be amazing. I'm sure she has subs. She dropped our link quite a few times, which was awesome. So thank you for that.
Yeah. That was awesome.
And I mean, I think we're just open to talking about anything and everything. Like,
If you
it
want us to
doesn't
talk
even have
about,
to be true crime.
put it in our box. If you
Yeah.
want
What do
us
you
to talk
think?
about something, even if it's
Get to,
old.
I'm gonna ask, and we're gonna answer your email questions. Get to ducking.
Even
I'm
if
gonna
it's
answer.
old.
I will answer those questions.
We probably know
Um.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will probably do a show about specifically for our friend. Um, I always just call her Belle, but um, and it'll be like a Liam based
Yeah.
show. And we may read out what she wants to say, or she might come on here. And I hope she comes on here because there's absolutely nothing to worry about being on here.
And she knows everything about that case you want to know.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
her case. The Liam,
Everything.
she's a One Direction gal. Also, John Bonet, she knows a lot about that too. We're not going to touch any of those without her.
Yeah. And what do we have here? We have a hearing, I think, for Koberger in January, and then clearly we're going to be covering. There are more drones because there's more drones. They're out
Donna
there.
Adelson. We're gonna cover Donna
I know that's
Adelson.
not true crime, but it could end up being. Who knows?
Well, it's a mystery, and that's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Donald Adelson will be. See, I watched the Charlie Adelson trial low key because I got into that case.
Oh,
And I
Donna.
told you guys all about that case. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah. You
is
got me into it.
crazy.
Yeah. It is a crazy case. And it keeps going.
She's a crazy lady.
She is
Charlie's
crazy.
in jail, and Donna tried to hire his lawyer, and they rebunked it.
And then Corey Richens. Am I saying that?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Utah mom.
Utah
and what's
mom.
his daughter in that case? Mindy.
Sorry, what?
Donna Adelson. What's the daughter?
Oh, Wendy.
Wendy. Okay.
Wendy.
Yeah, I want Wendy to go down. Personally, I think she's the whole reason this all happened.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well,
Wendy knew all about this.
It's her husband, right?
Yeah.
Ex-husband.
Yeah.
The whole thing is dubious. Oh.
Corey Richens will be very interesting. I hope more pops off with the Micah Miller case. I'm predicting.
It's starting to.
What are your guys' predictions for 2025? Like big predictions, just so that we've got it on the books. And so it does happen. We can
Rex
be like,
Heuerman, my backyard too. We're gonna get it to Rex Heuerman. That's my backyard.
Yep. Rex Heuerman's gonna be. That's gonna be wild. That's gonna be insane. They have so much evidence.
Predictions for 2025? We'll probably have a new case tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. I think that we're gonna get. What else, Eric? What are your other
predictions? Karen Reed gets justified.
Yep.
Okay, what else we got? Corey Richards goes to jail.
Good.
What else is there? I think Donna Adelson will get a conspiracy charge.
Good.
Oh, Diddy?
Yeah.
Diddy's going down.
What about Jay-Z?
I want him to go down, but I mean, that's one of my wonders. Like, because he's so powerful. But I mean, that judge doing what he did the other day is a big deal against him, and I was really happy about that.
Big W.
Yeah, big win. And I mean, what else is there? Did I miss anything?
Well,
with Kansas moms.
yeah.
I think Tad and Tiffany both get 30 years, the same thing as Cora.
All right.
What about, we'll get to Ducking Point. Does she have any big prediction that we haven't touched on?
Not yet. Not yet. She wanted to talk about Liam. We have to wait on that one.
Oh, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for Liam,
Yeah,
but
we have our Liam expert.
Gotta stick a pin in it.
What about BK, Eric? What about
BK?
Idaho? What about Idaho?
I mean, I got to see evidence. I have to see what they got because it's a gig order. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and go crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people, like, but
who would go crazy over the Idaho?
My theory on that
I have my theories of who would go crazy.
My theory on that is those kids were killed because of the drug addict parents. And it was,
solid theory.
Revenge. And who did it? No fucking clue.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
But I want to see Dylan and Bethany on the stand, definitely.
What will be the big case of 2025?
It didn't happen yet.
We don't know that yet?
No, I mean, we're predicting. What do you think? I think it's going to be
Idaho.
Jay-Z.
It's got to be Idaho.
I think it's going to be whoever Celebrity B is.
I think Jay-Z's going to postpone, and Diddy's going to postpone.
Well, then I think Idaho 4. But I mean, I feel like the Diddy thing is bigger. So much bigger.
The Diddy thing is going to take a while, but it is the case, it is the case that is going to be remembered, and it's going to impact so much of our culture, and it already has.
Yeah.
But all the time we put in Idaho, we went Idaho.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see an outcome in Idaho.
Oh yeah.
I also think the drones are gonna pop off. We're gonna get some.
Oh, I can't wait.
Something's building. Everyone's saying something's building, and we don't know what it is.
I mean, it's all good. We want Karen to get off. That'll really make me happy.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, I'll be really happy when Karen gets off.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, Sandra Birchmore. That's up and coming. Remember that name?
That's up and coming, yeah.
And that has to do with the Karen Reed case. It's, well, not exactly, but there's ties to it.
Well, the same characters. Same corruption.
Karen Reed popped that off.
I got an address here. Get to Ducking. Says Ann Taylor has a history pulling Alford plea. 11th hour defendant pleads guilty without taking responsibility to avoid death penalty. And I know that already because she did that. My friends, the people that I am acquaintances with, but my friends, dear friends, got murdered here in Idaho about 2.5 hours from me. And Ann Taylor was the defense attorney for the man who killed them. And
I respect that. But there's so many people who think he's not guilty. Like, will he plead? Will he plead guilty?
Like, I don't. At the last minute, wait, no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, I respect that, and that could happen, but
I respect that too, and you know what else? Get to Ducking Point. I think it's interesting that Anne made such a big deal of the expert that she had, who was no longer alive and who was part of the penalty phase. And the judge was like, well, that's the penalty phase. And she's like, well, we can't proceed. She was really like focused on this person. And it came out that he's a penalty phase expert. And he's like, well, can we not deal with that when that comes up? It made me think this might not even go to trial. It might go directly to penalty phase.
Well, they tried to take the DP off the table already, and it got denied.
Right, but Get to Ducking Point says that he could plead guilty. Yeah, last minute. That is one of her kind of go-tos, and that's, she tried to get the death penalty off the table. I mean, this is just a theory, but I mean, it's
I agree. I'm just saying there's so many people who think he didn't do it. I mean, I'm leaning towards not that he did it, he was involved. Nobody could have done that alone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. The whole thing is so wild. Like I would not get into it at the 11th hour or whatever, but it is the whole thing is going to be so crazy. I'm sad that I don't get to see him do a perp walk, because they bring him in underneath the courthouse. They have like a ramp where they like drive the van in underneath the courthouse. So you never, well, now, yeah, and I go, hopefully I get in the courtroom. I went to the courthouse last week, 2 weeks ago, I think, and like walked around, looked around stuff. So I have a kind of an idea of how big the courtrooms are and things like that. But I didn't go in I don't think I went in a courtroom that BryanKohberger is going to be in.
I'm looking up Alfred Plea as soon as I get off here.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is.
And Taylor's history. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, send us stuff. If you have stuff you want us to talk about, that was a really great comment, and we were going to look into that because I haven't heard that. But then again, a lot of the people that I've been listening to are very pro Kohlberger, and that just so happens to be who I'm subscribed to. I'd love to have Sarge come up and talk to us about this. I've been trying to connect with him. He's always live when I'm heading to work, and he always drops the link for me. So if he ever comes into our chat, I would love for us to drop the link for him.
And Sarge is logic. It's all logic when you hear it, Sarge.
Yeah,
no
he doesn't
speculation, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows a lot of Idaho 4 stuff for sure.
And
he just doesn't deal with bullshit either.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's been around since the beginning with Idaho for us. Like, he was just a character. He used to do all the call-ins. Now he has a show, Anyone can have a show. You have an opinion, you can have a show.
And he's smart.
Yeah, he's awesome. He is awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, Get to Docking Point.
Yeah, thank you,
Get to our number one fan. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. May 2025 be the best.
Yeah. Happy New Year. We'll get talking to you in a week or so. Next week sometime.
Yeah, we'll be active on our community. Yeah, sooner than we think.
Yeah, you can't stop us. All right. Have a good night.
Hey.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Happy New Year.